Okay, so hi guys, and this is going to be one of my first videos in my machine learning tutorial. So in this video, I'm going to go over linear regression, what that is, and how we can create a model for that. And then in my next video, I'm going to go over how we can actually use code to create a model. So machine learning is basically using artificial intelligence that provides systems the ability to automatically learn and improve things without being explicitly programmed to do so. So they're learning from their surroundings and from all these neural networks and all this stuff. They're learning what to do instead of being every time like here's an example. Like all that stuff, like Siri. Siri would be an example of machine learning. Now, they are programmed to learn from people. It's not a bunch of, if you look at the source code for that, it's not like thousands of hard-coded if statements. Okay, so again, machine learning focuses on computer programs and they can access data and use it to learn for themselves. And in our next video, I'm going to be writing a program that does just that. So I'm going to start with linear regression. So I'm just going to go and I'm not very used to drawing one here. And we're going to draw a graph. So linear regression uses data that correlates to each other. And we're going to start, I'm just going to, I'll do a different color and try to make this, I never use paint. Try to do some dots. Okay, let's say these dots are our data. And now let's say we are going to want to draw a line, and we want that line to try to connect through as many of our data points. I did a really bad job. As many of our data points as possible. So this right here is going to be called our best fit line. I'll just put a beef down for that because I don't have time to write best fit. Okay. And what we can do from these points on or near our line is we can calculate the slope. And how we can do slope is rise over run, which is what slope is. And this model is usually going to be created by your computer. So this is how linear regression would work in your computer. And you're actually thinking, oh, this is pretty easy, right? This is just middle school level math. Well, this one is. After this, I'm going to get into more models like K nearest neighbors and that kind of stuff. Okay, so this is the equation that is being used to calculate the slope of our line. And we can predict, we can also use our equation y equals mx plus b to predict correlations between our data. So our computer is going to create our line when we're giving data like that. And we're going to be able to use this to predict our values. So let's say we have this is 3, 4. This isn't going to be real accurate, and we'll just say this point is 7, 8. Well, our computer is going to be able to find out the correlation between this data. It's going to be able to find a line between, it's going to be able to create our best fit line, it's going to be able to find the slope, our y-intercept, and yeah, and this will be used to predict this is going to be used to predict our relationship between all of our data. Okay, so I'm just gonna, can I delete this? No, I cannot. Okay, but so let's say, for example, this isn't exactly what it's gonna look like. So most likely this is what would happen if we were in 2D space right there. So most likely we're not, if we're in an application like TensorFlow, which I will get into, we're going to be into something called 3D space. And so what's going to be the difference between this and something else is we're going to be using vectors instead of having just an x and a y coordinate. we're going to have an X, a Y, and a Z coordinate. And I'm sure there's a better way to erase what I just did, but I'm going to start with just drawing a visual representation. And I'm also going to start with changing the size of my pen. Okay. So I'm just going to start with creating, this is what our coordinate is going to look like if we're in something like TensorFlow, which is used with Python. It's 3D space. And instead of these lines, we have these things which are going to be called vectors. So we will have vectors that will be connecting through our points. Okay, so we can still continue to do our best fit line in space in 3D space. And only instead of having an X and a Y, we'd have an X, a Y, and a Z coordinate. Okay, so hopefully I touched a little bit. I'm trying to think if I missed anything, but hopefully I was able to touch a little bit on linear regression, and hopefully you guys know now a little more about it.